You can't say, I feel this way, and someone says, well, you can't feel that way. You're never wrong for feeling how you feel, but being able to articulate those when you're supposed to have the bravado of the uniform and the badge and certain expectations maybe in the public is tougher to deal with.
It's almost an injustice sometimes to have a uniform because it does become and appear very robotic. You kind of forget who's under that uniform. There's the stigma of, you know, your brothers and sisters next to you and having to tell them, I'm not okay. In a culture of warriors and caretakers, and it's never been okay to say, I'm not okay. The helper isn't the one that usually reaches out for help.
Most people know what's on their desk the day when they go home and what they're going to walk into the next day. When you don't know, you know, who that car is that you just stopped, you don't know, am I really going to, you know, a domestic violence call? Or is this going to turn into, as we've seen, a horrific scene for me? Am I even going to go home to my family? You know, you just don't know.
Which way?
He's in there.
On an everyday basis, we're interacting with people during the worst days of their lives. And day in and day out, year in and year out, that's going to take a toll because, I mean, if you think about it, when that's all you see, why wouldn't it start affecting you and your outlook on anything and everything?
I think there's those things you see that you don't know you saw until you close your eyes at night and the adrenaline is done pumping through your bloodstream and you really start to process.
I think where the work is realizing that there's no way that you can do this job or see these types of things and be okay. And a lot of times the culture has been avoidance. I'm gonna avoid it, I'm gonna bury it. I'm gonna bury it with booze, gambling, buying toys, whatever it might be, where, you know, all the evidence shows that the way you get through this is processing and going through it.
Some of us are fortunate enough to have first responder spouses at home, and they are people that do understand at a different level.
Not everybody has that. It's not always a supportive system at home, you know, and so we have to be aware of that too, that could be another piece of, you know, the contributing part of why somebody's struggling or why somebody's not moving through things smoothly or effectively. A lot of times it's hard to even admit that you're struggling or hard to admit that you need help until it reaches a capacity that you can't really handle it anymore, and then you're either going to have a tragedy or you're going to have to reach out. It usually goes one way or the other.
I can't even imagine. I've got kids of my own.
We can feel the pain. We can feel how detrimental this whole case has been to the agency, and it's universal. It's with dispatchers, it's with people that took the call, it's with people that never walked in the room and saw anything. This is universal truth with all trauma, that it can be passed to you secondhand. I can just be a friend of somebody that experienced it and feel the effects, feel the PTSD, experience PTSD, have full-blown PTSD off of it.
Having access to mental health allows the officers to heal.
What we know about PTSD, and which leads to depression and anxiety, is that it's an injury. It's created by an injury, and so it's almost like an overworked muscle in your body. If you strain a calf doing, you know, calf raises, we know that it was due to the weight. Well, same thing with the symptomology with PTSD. We can look at it and say, yes, you saw too much. It triggered these systems in your body that keep you safe, and now they're overstimulated and they're firing off when there's no real danger or perceived danger, and it can be healed.
I wasn't always the best communicator because I was shut down, because talking about it, it wasn't so much it was a phobia. I didn't know how. And more importantly, here I am, I'm looking left, looking right, nobody else is talking. Why do I have to be that guy? Or do I want to be that guy? And sometimes it comes down to, do you have the courage to be that person, just to speak first?
What I want to do is build a culture of reaching out. It has to do with providing great resources. It starts with putting resources in place so when people reach out, that they know they're going to be taken care of, and build the awareness on what symptoms look like and what they are. And so it's easier to identify, build that self-awareness. That's the angle that this will be successful. It's not about shoulder tapping people and saying, hey, you need help.
Having mental health available for us gives us support, and it's no different than going in and maintaining your vehicle, or you update and upgrade your home. It's going to make us last longer in this career. It's going to make us have the ability to provide the utmost professionalism that has become the standard with Washoe County a lot longer. These kids have to do 30 years. That's changed in the past several years from, 25 years you can retire. These kids are having to do 30, and some aren't getting into the business until they're 25 or 30. It's going to become even more crucial for them to have that support system internally so they can learn to process and heal in order to go out and do the job that they're capable of doing.
You good?
Yeah.
All right.
It's really important from a community standpoint that we support programs like this, support our law enforcement and our first responders getting help, just like law enforcement and first responders want to support the public for reaching out and getting help. And I think together, if we do that, we can bridge the gap between, law enforcement, the general public, the stigma. And I think that this is really the way to bridge the gap between these things and bring the community together.
Over the last month, we've shared several videos addressing mental health. And on behalf of the Washoe County Sheriff's Office and me personally, I want to thank Shannon Mateo for the courage and bravery it took to share your story of your soulmate, your son, Brandon Mateo, who unfortunately took his life in February of last year. And to the first responders who had the courage to share their story of responding to that incident. And to the community members and first responders out there that may be in a mental health battle or mental health struggle, please know you're not alone. You're not isolated. We are here. If you or someone you love is in a mental health crisis, call Crisis Support Services of Nevada at 800-273-8255 or text CARE to 839-863. If you are having an emergency, call 911. It doesn't matter what door you come through, we are here for you.